Well, here we are. It's time for WellRED. Sans Cho. Jump right into it. Apparently, his baby threw up on his face. As someone who previously had a baby, I'm not entirely clear on how that removes someone from contention for
You think
recording a
it's
podcast for
gravity?
the day. Yeah, right. Yeah, just he can't get it off. The gravity of his head is such
Yeah,
so
it's like
strong.
stuck to the surface of the
Yeah, he
moon.
can't clean it off. That could be it. No, he said something like because the baby threw up on his face, now he can't get his mom to watch the said baby. So
Because
now
the
he
baby
can't.
might be sick.
Yeah, I get mine, but babies be throwing up on faces all the time.
Sure,
I call
sure,
I
but
call
maybe
into
like if
question.
it's like, yeah, the baby's sick, I'm not keeping the baby because I
Yeah, I
got
think.
some.
I mean, I think you're right. I think it
I
was
also think it's
something
his
like that.
birthday, and he was like talking about how he wanted to go to the movies, which I'm not saying he's actually at the movies. I don't think his heart was in it.
No, you're
I
right.
think it might have been like
You're definitely right.
you're
That's
looking in
definitely
the
what happened.
mirror at the vomit, and you're like, I'm not doing the thing I already do.
No, you're right. I was thinking it. I was in my head. It was December 19th. So it's December 9th. So I
Uh,
think you're
it's
right.
the 9th or the 10th, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so no, you've, as usual, as is often the case, you've seen right through it. That's definitely what happened. By the way, make it clear. I don't know if you'll listen back to this or not. It's completely fine with me,
Yeah, I
but
don't
I'm
even think
utterly
I'm skimming
convinced that
through it. I
you
think
are.
it's like,
I
I think
don't know
that
that
did
the,
happen.
I don't
It
know.
did suck. It was
Mhm.
like, you're already like, ugh, and then you get vomited on. And you're like, I'm not doing
Yeah.
this.
It's his birthday. He just didn't want to do it. He may or may not have also been vomited on in the interim, but
I believe, Corey, you were vomited on. I just think you were happy about it.
I think he might be at Kill Bill right now. Wasn't
That'd be
that
pretty good. But
because
why would he just say it? He
that
said he was going to Kill Bill, and we were like, that's fine.
he said he was going and he had to go at nighttime and kind of didn't want to, but he had to because of podcast, right? So I think that
Um,
maybe he's at the earlier one, see, or going to it. This is my theory.
my theory is that's your son. You somehow got Amber pregnant through osmosis by having sex with Corey, and you and no, I fucked it up. I had my story backward.
I
Damn it.
threw up on his face in
Yeah,
the
but
baby
actually,
form as revenge for him having thrown up on my face all those years
yeah, yeah,
ago.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that would
But what
be.
I should have just said was it's clearly Corey's child because they would just be throwing up on faces.
Yeah, they do. This is gonna sound out of nowhere. Have you seen the movie Weapons yet?
No, and I don't think I'm gonna.
Okay, that's fine.
Is it great?
It's good. Great. People were talking about it like, you know, best horror movie of the decade type shit was the type of praise it was getting, and I don't get
Right.
that, but it is. I mean, it's a good movie, yeah, but it sort of has to do with you were the idea of me basically possessing Corey's child and making it throw up on him. That's kind of what that movie's about. It's about
I read
kids
so many
being
things about
possessed
it,
with
and
it.
maybe it was my own fault. Is it kind of about gun control?
So there people said that. People said it was one of those things where people are like, it's clearly about gun control. This is about school shootings. This is about alcoholism, right? It's like a bunch of different things. I wouldn't call it clear about me. I landed more on the alcoholism side of it than the gun control part personally,
Mhm.
but a lot of people tried to make that argument, but who the hell knows?
I just felt like either this is like kind of too on the nose, it seems like, and I'm not gonna like it, or they're right and it is great horror, and then I'll probably like be fucked up by it. Like I'm just not. It's rare that there's times where I've been like, God damn, what a great horror film. I wish I wouldn't have seen it.
I find most of the time for me that because there are plenty of times I've skipped watching horror movies because in my head I've been like you just said, I was like, even if it is really good, I think it will upset me.
Mhm.
Like like I'll be disturbed by it and it will be overall an unpleasant, experience. So I don't want to do it. The times and I kind of felt that way about Weapons, but it got such praise that I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. And with Weapons, and I feel like with most of the other horror movies that I've given into and finally watched, usually, and maybe it's because I built it up in my head so much, it's not so bad. Like it's over, and I was like, well, that wasn't that fucking crazy. Like I don't know what I thought it was gonna be akin to watching fucking snuff footage or something like that. And it's like it's a movie. It's nothing that crazy. But I mean, I'm not trying to talk you into watching it. You just literally made me think of it. So I thought I'd ask because if you had have seen it, gonna ask some more things, but we're not gonna do that, which is fine because people in our audience probably wouldn't be into it anyway. So
No, probably. Well, I think some, right?
probably maybe a couple, very few. What do you want to talk about?
What do I want to talk about? I want to talk about. Might as well plug it now. I'm so genuinely pumped about our show, and I was trying to like figure out why. And I don't mean like I'm not usually pumped about us having a show, but it is like a combination of like I haven't seen y'all in a very long time, actually, even though we hang out and virtually weekly. And then also, I've just kind of been doing mostly shows around Knoxville, and they've been great, and I've been having a good time. But it has, as those things do, like it kind of gets stale. Like I haven't toured much. I've done like fill-in show, like Levity Live called me or whatever in Huntsville. Used to be stand up live, and they were like, "Can you fill in?" And I did, and it was a good time. But there's not been like any consistent touring. So anyway, I hope people are pumped to come see us in Nashville. We're there December, I want to say 18, 19, 20, whatever that Thursday through Saturday is. And I'm really pumped. I'm really pumped about having a full club set. I'm really pumped about seeing you guys. I'm really pumped about seeing WellRED Nation. Yeah, I don't know if that's all I want to talk about, but that's what I'm pumped about.
Well, yeah, if you're remotely close to Nashville, please come to Zany's. Not this weekend, but the next one. And
I think Saturday early sold out. I think Friday early is coming close. So you're gonna have to go to a late show. I know that a lot of you guys,
well,
including me,
we're there Thursday, right? You could come Thursday. That's not a late show.
true. Well, I was thinking if you're not remotely close Thursday.
Well, then yeah, you're probably not. You're probably right. But they are always a very good time. It's weird because that's like it is my favorite weekend of the year. I love those shows and everything, but it also is always I always end up fucking real stressed out by it too the whole time because of all the other elements of it. I feel like I have to deal with a little more than either of the two of you, but
Yeah, I
both
only
have
had to
it.
deal with that in Knoxville. And let me say
Right.
this too, when I opened for you in Knoxville, but it wasn't a WellRED show, that was so much better.
Mhm.
Like, I mean, like not everything was better, but just like the whole like people were texting me, "Oh shit, man, I didn't know you were gonna be on that. It looks like it already sold out." Yep, nothing I can do about it.
Right.
So I get what you're saying.
Yeah, because yeah, it's just always because I'm fucking poor white trash, so it's just always a lot of requests. Hey, I need tickets. How many? All of them, shitload. And it's like, well, there's not that many. Plus, there's Corey and Drew. They might need tickets too. It's always a fucking thing. But anyway, the shows themselves are always a good time.
Well, I do have a "Is this anything?" And
Okay,
the thing is, I know it's something,
let me see if I
and I'm
do.
kind of going to ruin it for the people who are going to come to the show because I already know this is something. I just want to talk to you about it, mostly because right now it's kind of just one line, and I want it to be something else. It's not a tag. It just goes on the back end of another joke I have, where I'm talking about the youth.
Mm-hmm.
Broccoli hair. Kids are doing the broccoli hair. We all hate the broccoli hair. We all hate it. We can't stand it. God forbid a young man try to get some pussy. But I hate it too. Like, here's the thing. As we age, they get older too.
The youngins, you mean?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And I didn't realize this till recently, but Gen Z is old enough to be a cop. And I know this because I saw a broccoli-haired cop,
That's tough.
which answered the question in the affirmative. Could I possibly respect a cop less? And then I just thought about maybe there's an act out, but it seemed kind of corny, to be honest with you, of like, do you know why I pulled you over, fam? Or like,
yeah, that's definitely for sure a way to go. It might be a little corny, but that's okay. Sometimes, corny stuff is.
well, sometimes it's like we all know what you're going to do, and we want you to do it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. And I know it's funny that this is where my brain went because you probably don't want to do this. Also, I mean, hell, it's been a while now, but I immediately thought of like the Doge kids, big balls in them or whatever.
Yeah.
Like that was one of the worst parts of that whole thing is that these guys were like fucking tearing our, government down from the inside out or whatever and lording all this power over, lifelong bureaucrats and stuff were broccoli headed internet edgelords who were 21 or 22 years old, called themselves big balls and stuff. It definitely makes it harder. Any kind of authority figure in that position, it's like it don't hit.
Well, I like to go for the throat, as you know, and I like to be dark sometimes. So I was thinking about like, all right, well, what do I really want to say about cops as a joke? Well, I mean, I always like a clever reference to how they beat their wives.
Mhm.
And so I was
I go
like,
with shoot dogs, unsurprisingly,
pretty good, yeah, pretty good. But I was like, how do you make a Gen Z comically racist? How do you make a Gen Z cop comically hit his wife? And I was like, maybe he's married to an AI. Like, do they beat their AI wife robot? And I was
Mhm.
like, they don't really have AI wife robots yet. I don't
They
think
don't even really have, like, wives, do they? Right?
that's what I'm
And that's,
saying.
like, another thing, they don't, like, date and shit anymore, like, painting with a broad
Well, there's
brush
two
on
sides
purpose.
to it, right? Like, there's a half of them that are like pretty conservative, like traditionalist conservative. They're like half of them, not half, but a lot of them are getting married at like 22
Right.
because they like think we're degenerate, disgusting internet creeps who are obsessed with sex and being single and jacking off and porn. So they're like trying to go the other route. And then, basing that on like God's watching is weird, but more power to them in general. But anyway, I was trying to think of a way to like comment on what cops do through the lens of the AI cop. And to me, what cops do is like, uphold the power structure, shoot black people, shoot
Mhm.
dogs.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I'm trying
Well, no, I mean, I'm glad
comedian's
the
weird. I'm
pause
in
was
my
you
head
thinking
picture.
and not you being like, this is stupid.
No, I was in my being a comedian is weird because in my head, I was, like, thinking, it's like, yeah, what would a broccoli-haired 22-year-old beating his wife look like, or 24-year-old?
What would it look like?
Yeah. Or like like, but that's what I was imagining, but not imagining it in a like, this is horrific way, but like, well, what's
Yeah,
funny about this? Where's the joke in this
yeah,
type of way?
I'm almost there. I've been thinking about, how funny it is that cops shoot people.
Yeah.
Well, anyway,
What would they, man? I mean, this is dark. Are they still gamers and stuff? Because you could
yeah, I think so.
do an act out of them shooting an unarmed black man and then like some gamer shit. Like, I think teabagging was us. Yeah, I don't know if you want to teabag a hypothetical dead black father of four on stage. It might be a little too much, but
Oh,
something like that, like, I don't know, fucking something with a headset or some kind of like, you know, good game, some kind of like gamer lingo or something after shooting a guy, shoots a guy and then fucking, I don't even know. I'm too far out
well,
of the game, literal
right.
game, like Halos and shooters and stuff.
I thought about that too. Like, I don't really know them. I don't need to know them. I don't need to be a comic who's just shitting on the younger generation. I actually think that generally speaking, it can end up being pretty whack. So I was thinking, like, all right, so do I make fun of myself? Because really the joke is about I did see this. I saw a broccoli head cop, and it
Mhm.
kind of just sent me into a tailspin of like, like I said, I ended up with the line of I didn't know I could respect the cop less or whatever. But at the time, I was like saying, in my head, I was thinking, I just when I thought I couldn't hate him more, and I thought maybe there's a line of just like, like of all the things that I overlook, the racism, the wife beating, the corruption, this is a bridge too far.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, I like that. I think that's funny. That reminds me of yesterday on Skewers. I was telling to Martin, this happened in our group chat too, but like Mark sent us that clip of Elon on Joe Rogan telling him, like, here's this is something great Grok can do, right? Grok can roast your friends at a party, right? Like, you tell Grok, hey, give me some brutal roast for my buddy Joe or whatever, and then
It's brutal roast for me,
and like and just Mark brought that up on Skews, and we were just talking about how fucking how stupid and terrible and cringeworthy, like so many things Elon does. But that is the idea of actually being at a party and someone really doing that, and how that would backfire so hard and so immediately, and like would never work, even if Grok was good at it, which of course also it isn't. So it's just, but Joe Rogan, what I said was, and what I brought up again yesterday, that's related to what you just said a minute ago, like somehow that clip, because in that clip, Joe Rogan was laughing at Elon and was like going along with it, like, dude, that's so cool, like in a that's so cool kind of way. And
Yeah.
somehow that, more than anything else that he's done, really was like the last straw for me with like
Right.
Joe Rogan, like that, him laughing at that and pretending. Because to me, I guess as a comedian, it's like that's even more of a sin to me. Like acting like that is a funny, good idea. It's like, dude, what are you doing? You should be fucking ripping his ass apart. Even y'all are boys, right? Fucking bust his
Be
balls.
boys,
It's
dude.
stupid. Yeah, right. Like
Yeah.
what
Come on,
is
dog.
this? And it just and then I realized how silly that is for that to be the thing that like finally pushed me over the edge with Joe Rogan. But but it really sincerely was. Like, I'm not saying that as a bit. That was my genuine reaction to it. It's like, this I can't handle all the disinformation and fucking propaganda and all the shit. But like this is a bridge too far for me.
I think it's because of, I'm trying to think of how to frame this without making it sound like I or you are defending the other things Joe Rogan has done or said. Not that I care, but it's just, I don't think that's factual. I don't think you've ever defended it. I mean, I think that you've seen him say wild shit and been like, well, that's fucking stupid. But you see that and you're like, and some people have fucking stupid ideas. That's
Right.
how it is in life. And then unfortunately, one of them is more important than the rest of us and has this platform, and that's weird.
Right.
Blah, blah, blah. With this, it's like what he's holding on to. I mean, and to a point that I have found it laughable. You know, he's like, the mothership is sacred. We as stand-up
Right.
comics, like
Right.
that's been his sort of wall that he bounces all that other stuff off of. Whether it's my excuse for not grilling whoever it is that I'm a comic. I'm a dude hanging out. And then like my excuse for saying these things is I was trying to be funny. You know, even when he apologized for saying the N-word, it was like I was trying to be funny, but I realized I shouldn't have done it now. And there's some part of you as a comic that's like, hey, that's not the comic I am, but I know that comic. Okay. Like, none of us know that comic.
Exactly. That's
None of us
exactly
know
it.
the guy who's going to pretend, unless it's a chick. And if it's a chick, we all give the dude shit.
Right.
Sometimes in front of the chick. Like,
Mhm.
come on, dog. She ain't going to suck your dick just because you thought her fucking joke was funny. And when I say chick, I
Right.
don't mean a chick comic necessarily, but I'm saying like, I've never seen a comic act like that
No.
unless
Right.
it was trying to get pussy or someone kind of famous who had like lost a step.
Yeah.
And
No,
even that we make fun of. Like, we're all like, you know what I mean?
you're definitely right. It's like in spite of all the other, like Rogan is always like deified comedians and the concept of comedy. And he's real serious about it and all the fucking comedy assassins. And this is what it means and all this stuff. And so, uh, to then do that was just like, for me, just a much more unforgivable sin. Cause like you said, no real comic would do that. Even if that's your buddy and they're supposed to be buddies. Yeah. You bust their balls immediately for it. Be like, bro, are you kidding me? Fucking walk into any party and try that shit. Fucking get your phone out and like, yeah, let my phone be cool for me. See how that goes. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Right.
Like, you know,
And there's different levels. Like, I think you would respond as diplomatically as possible. I think like maybe not to Elon, but to like a friend of yours. Like, if you had a friend on this pod and you had them on because they were talking about something interesting and they said that, I think you would be like, I don't know. Like, I just don't feel like they could. But if you think about the two examples I gave, like trying to get laid, or maybe it's someone in the industry who's important. Like, dude, I could totally see someone doing it to Flanny. Not that Flanny's not funny or that he'd ever say that, but that's just someone we know in common. I could see people pretending like he said something funnier than it was or whatever.
right.
Right.
Well, that's kind of what Rogan's doing though, isn't it? I know he's
Exactly.
like
That's
a
what I was
huge
going to
power.
say.
No, I know. Yeah. It's like you're ingratiating yourself to this dude. Like, and it's gross.
It's gross.
Like you don't need, and I know it's almost like a two-way street with them. Cause I know Elon thinks Rogan's like the coolest dude alive too.
Well,
Or
it helps
whatever.
him. He's also using it.
Right. Yeah. Yes. But yeah, no, you're right. Yeah. There are plenty of comics who would do that for like a Netflix executive or something. And that's the feel that it had for Rogan, even though it's Elon Musk. But it's like, yeah, it's just he's like sucking up to him or whatever, whether he's even thinking about it or not. But it's like you just know that he doesn't actually think that that's a good idea that would work, but he's pretending to. And there's got to be some reason for that. And it's,
And us being
bitch
either
stuff.
unable to understand or disgusted by that reason, if I can like come up with it in my head of what it probably is, is part of it too. Because if you see one of your friends do that in front of a Netflix exec, especially not on a fucking podcast, so no one saw it, but like the four of us, you'd be like, ugh, but I get it.
Right. Yeah.
I'm trying to get this from him, and then it's over. And then you don't have to, like, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm trying to think of a comic who's not like that. Patrice comes to mind. Patrice would not even do that to the Netflix exec, much to his own downfall, right? But with Rogan, it's like, A, you're literally on top of the comedy world.
Yeah, right. You can't go no higher.
Even if it's like, okay, well, he wants to be on top. What other?
Right.
Unless you think he's going to go to Mars and take you, I genuinely don't know what you could possibly even need.
Exactly.
Or want.
Yeah, even if it, like a doomsday bunker or something, Rogan can afford his own already.
Right.
You know, like he's already in there. Yeah. No,
it's
you're 100%
like he's always been that guy, and that is deep down, I think, kind of why a lot of us started losing respect for him over the years, even if we kept it to ourselves, either for professional reasons or because we weren't sure. Like, we're just trying to be decent people here. Like, oh, well, maybe. I think he's just always been someone without like a fucking rudder.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people have said about him. Is that he's like, he's so like malleable or whatever, legit. Like he just takes on the whatever, not about affect, but at least the opinions of the last person he talked to, at least the last person he talked to that he thought was smart. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah.
But I think part of your feeling is he was supposed to draw the line of comedy, right?
Yeah, right.
And it turns out even there, he doesn't know what he's talking about, which makes sense because he's painfully unfunny.
But he also, it's a known thing with him that he doesn't like get jokes, like people have made compilations of him. Yeah. Like he doesn't, or he doesn't register that a joke even just happened, which is weird for a comedian and podcast host, but
the biggest in the world.
Yeah. Yeah. But, I don't know. I have a thing too. Let's do that. So, I mean, I've got a whole list of things. I'm just picking one off of it since you brought up, is this anything? Shit, where'd it go? Where'd it go? There it is. So I'm just going to read the note I have and you tell me if just based on, because obviously I just write these notes down to remind myself. So I'm literally just going to read the note and you tell me based on just that, if it makes sense to you before I, explain anything. And the note says, telling regular people to recycle every day or we're all going to die is like an alcoholic adulterer telling his 8-year-old, you better start cleaning your room or mom's going to leave.
I think the analogy's apt. I don't know how funny it is yet.
Yeah. Well, again, that's just an idea. That's just how I phrase the idea of it in my note file. But it's like, yeah, it's what is even the bit obviously would be about or aimed at the way people are gaslit, by corporations get away with everything or whatever and that whole deal. But that's obviously a huge subject that you'd have to drill down into further. And I don't know
if corporations are responsible for this one, but this is more current and more specific, and it bothers me so much. And you can do anything you want with it because I don't have a joke. Instead of recycling, and I want to say this, I may have said this in some version of this on here before, but everyone out there, if you're listening and you're involved in this, please take notes. I'm completely right about what I'm about to say. Kill your lawn is the dumbest fucking idea for a campaign I've ever seen in my life. And it's not that they're wrong. When you go and read what they're saying, I'm like, oh, everything you're saying is true, but it comes across to someone who's not read up on it and maybe who they're not obsessed with the environmental movement and or, farming and being traditional with their plants. And for people who don't know, the idea is like, hey, we planted these non-native grasses. We're fucking up entire ecosystems. And for what? If you would just figure out a way to make the native plants grow in harmony, it's way less maintenance and it would be beautiful. Here's an example. And you look at them and you go, damn, that would be fire. But you're not going to get a suburban dad on board with doing something he would probably consider a little radical to begin with the idea of just kill your lawn with nothing to replace it with, because you're not just taking away his lawn. You're taking away my man's break from the kids. You're taking away my man's peacocking in the neighborhood. And you can play into those things. That's what bothers me about it. You could totally play into get away from your kids, peacock for the neighborhood. Like, what's more bad? Like, let's badass our lawn. You know what I mean? Let's fucking defend your family. with native
Right.
plants. You know what I mean? Like, there's
Yeah.
so many stupid
Reframing it. Yeah.
reframes you could do. Whereas, hey man, you don't need a lawn. It's just such a liberal apartment living view where you're like, well, I know you don't need the lawn, so why don't you just listen to me? And it's like you're taking away something, you're not giving them anything back. Anyway,
What that?
I don't know if that's corporates though.
Yeah, but that
And
makes me
it's still
think of
environmental.
something else that I don't have any of my notes. And I don't know if it could even be a bit, but it's something that's come up a lot frequently because it's about to come up again right now. And it's that like I love it so much anytime it I've how do I even want to phrase this? My favorite form of protest by far are the ones that turns out I was already inadvertently doing. But now I can be lauded as a hero for, right?
Like not shopping at Target or something.
Exactly. So what happened? What reason it came up recently was, well, first of all, my wife shops at Target all the time, so I guess I can't claim that one. But recently, somebody asked me, another liberal person was like, "Are you participating in the Black Friday Cyber Monday boycott this year or whatever?" I had no idea that was happening, right? But I was like, "Yeah, absolutely, I am." Matter of fact,
yeah.
I've been participating for 20 straight years now. When'd you get on board? You know, like that.
Yeah.
Like
Capitalist swine.
yeah, I've been doing it. When the reality is just like I'd rather get fucking waterboarded than do Black Friday shit just because I don't like it. You just
free the nipple. I used to have a bit about that. I've been trying to get people to free the nipple my whole life.
Yeah, this also when Chick-fil-A first happened, I was saying at the time because it was true. I was like, well, this is easy for me because I'm actually not a fan anyway. I never really ate at Chick-fil-A just because I didn't like it. You know, and I was like, one of the lines I had when I was briefly talking about that was like, you know, because look, I'm gonna tell you right now, like if it turns out that Taco Bell is donating money to gay conversion therapy camps, then you know, I just hope my Uncle Tim can forgive me or whatever, because I'm not gonna fucking bail on that. But do you remind me of it just now because I had no idea that was a thing. You just told me that the way you just told the audience that. I'd never even heard of that. Our front lawn has been dead for fucking.
You killed your lawn?
That was so. The reason our front lawn is
just
dead,
buy a kill your lawn sign, dude.
That dude, that's yeah, that would help because it's been bought. Like the reason our lawn is dead is because my wife has ADD. So we moved in we bought this house and she was like, she didn't like the front lawn. So she like just ripped the whole fucking thing up in order to replace it with something different that she did like. But then she just moved on to other things. Well, first of all, also in ADD terms, she got paralyzed by choice. Like she couldn't decide what she wanted to do. And then she just gave up and sort of moved on to other stuff. And so now we've just had essentially a dirt plot in the front of our house for months now. But turns out I'm an environmental activist, which is nice. Yeah, I'll just give you one of those signs. Is there not an ordinance
that's going to get you?
I don't know. It hadn't come up so far.
I hope not.
Didn't even occur to me. I hadn't even checked, but yeah.
Then you could Larry David this whole thing. And when they try to tell you to, then you're like, no, I'm killing my lawn because I care about the environment. You just, you know what I mean? Now you're full bore in it.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, no, that's nice. That's good, at least to have in my back pocket. But you know what else is good to have in your back pocket? Dinner plans that you don't have to think about. That's right. We're talking about this week's sponsor, HelloFresh. If y'all been around for a while, you know that I'm a big time HelloFresh fan. More than a fan, I'm a devotee. I've been a weekly HelloFresh subscriber for like a decade now, as long as this podcast has existed. I've been on the HelloFresh tip. That's the truth. I'm not going to invite you into my home to prove it, but you just have to believe me. I'm a trustworthy guy. I'm not lying to you. I love this stuff. So you've heard of HelloFresh if you've been around here for a minute, or even if you haven't, if you're new here, you've probably heard of them, because after all, HelloFresh is the #1 meal kit in America. They make home cooking easier with chef-crafted recipes and fresh ingredients that they deliver straight to your door. But this fall and winter, they're serving up even more to love. This ain't your daddy's HelloFresh here. All right, they've revamped it, even bigger, healthier, and tastier than ever before. They've doubled their menu. I said paralyzed with choice earlier. It can feel like that sometimes picking through your menu options because they have over 100 of them each week. They switch it up for you. Seasonal dishes. They have recipes from around the globe. That's one of my favorite things about HelloFresh, is broaden my culinary horizons. I didn't even know what halloumi grilling cheese was until I started, getting HelloFresh. And now all of a sudden, look at me. I'm like a straight up Mediterranean in the kitchen some nights. You can dig into bigger portions that'll keep everyone satisfied. They've got a healthy menu now. You can, sort by category and look at the healthier options. More than 15 high protein recipes each week. Options like grass-fed ribeye or lamb chops. I just had the lamb chops from HelloFresh for the first time because that is a new addition. Absolute fire. Tender as the day is long, baby. That's the first time I'd ever cooked my own lamb chops. And that HelloFresh helped me knock it out of the park. They'll help you eat greener if that's your style with veggie packed recipes with 2 or more veggies per dish. They got steak and seafood options for no extra cost. They're 3 times the amount of seafood options they used to have. And this fall, you can get classic cooler weather recipes like beef chili or honey glazed pork tenderloin. So yeah, like I said, I've been using HelloFresh for 10 years. I love it. I already told you a couple of things I like about it. The other thing I always bring up, it helps me avoid food waste. I used to go to the store once a week, try to plan out my menu. I'd buy what I thought I needed. Invariably, I wouldn't use some of it, and I'd end up throwing food away and hating myself for it. HelloFresh makes that takes that completely off the table because they give you only the amount that you need to make the thing that you're making. No more, no less, no worries. I really couldn't be a bigger fan of this stuff. And I think you should try it yourself this holiday season. The best way to cook just got better. Go to HelloFresh.com/WellRED10FM. Okay. To get 10 free meals. That's the FM. 10 free meals plus a free breakfast for life. That's 1 per box with an active subscription. Free meals applied as discount on your first box. New subscribers only, and it varies by plan. That's HelloFresh.com/WellRED, the number 1, the number 0, FM. HelloFresh.com/WellRED10FM to get 10 free meals and free breakfast for life. All right. And we are back. I think I made you think of something you were going to say earlier, and then we just kept going. I said the Taco Bell thing. I hope Uncle Tim can forgive me, and your eyes kind of lit up, but I don't know what you were going to say.
I was just thinking is this anything thought I had that I haven't developed at all, which is like the people who send their kids to gay conversion therapy. Oh, now y'all believe in therapy?
Yeah, that's funny. Well, I mean, it is called therapy, but don't they just show them pictures of hot dudes and spray them with water hoses until their dicks don't get hard anymore and they hate themselves? Or I might be a little off on that, but isn't it something?
I mean, it's gay porn. Trey.
No, but isn't that they do that, don't they?
I just realized I don't think I have any idea what goes on at gay conversion therapy,
it's fucked
other
up.
than I assume a lot of gay stuff.
Right. Well, yeah, and it ain't. See, I'm just saying it ain't at all therapy. It's still a funny joke because they do call it that, but it's definitely
right.
It's more just psychological torture. I think.
I did remember I had one other line, which is like, until now, y'all were like, therapy, that's for queers.
That's funny. That's funny. I like that. But this is interesting, if maybe a little sad.
No good.
Let's find what. Oh my God, why did I just fucking Sorry, I just because Google popped up a suggested search. I just searched for gay conversion camp near me. That's what I just searched for. I don't like
I bet there's some crazy ones in California.
Yeah,
on account of supply and demand. Am I right?
Yeah, absolutely. You'd think. Let's see here. Fucking, what happens at a conversion camp? This person says, this is a person on Reddit who says that one of their gay friends' parents attempted to send them to what they thought was a gay conversion camp, but they accidentally sent them to just a gay camp, and it was just a camp for gay kids ran by gay people, and he had a great time. So that's at least that's one heartwarming story. I'm sure they figured it out lately and probably beat him and put him out on the street at the age of 15. But yeah, that's weird because I heard a very similar thing about, and I mean, this dude, I'm sure is as evil as any of them, but Jensen Huang, the CEO of NVIDIA, one of the top 10 richest people in the world, very engaged in the whole tech bro thing and AI and stuff. That dude, his parents are, I think they're Taiwanese, immigrants from Taiwan. I think he was born in Taiwan, but came here at a very early age and mostly grew up in America. No, okay. He came here when he was 8 or 9, spoke no English. That's when his parents immigrated over here. But I guess they had some money or something, and they they thought they were sending him to a prestigious boarding school, right? Because they thought that's in a thing for America, give your kid a leg up in America, send them to a fancy boarding school, which I mean it is a thing. But the actual school that they sent him to, it wasn't a gay conversion camp, but it was like a labor camp for troubled youth in rural Kentucky. And he went there barely speaking any English and like went to school there or attend however that worked for like a year or something, which is one hell of a mix up. But he says that like
This
I
is
guess
truly a villain backstory.
I know, right, I know. Yeah,
And
but
he is a villain.
he said he had to he traded like some kind of smart kid something, tech lessons or homework, cop cheating or something for like being taught how to bench press by like like a strong
Now this
hillbilly
sounds like he
kid.
just made some shit up. My boy went to boarding school in the South and was like, it was basically labor camp.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe you're right, but I just thought fuck him, what, I don't give a shit about him, but the idea of a pair of immigrant parents accidentally making that particular mix up is just, I mean, it's funny in a fucked up way, obviously,
It's
but
super
that's just
funny in a fucked up way. It's also funny if they didn't, but that was like what they said. Like, oh,
they
I'm
just
so
did it on
sorry.
purpose. Yeah, right. But it's like, it's like a setup for a fucking either like, if you go the funny way with it, either like a comedy or like a fucking, what's that dude's name? Alexander Payne, like an Asian Alexander Payne movies. He's the dude that made the Holdovers or the Leftovers, whatever it's
Yeah.
called. He makes those like rich kid movies or whatever. That's gonna piss people off.
As you might imagine, I don't go very deep with those, but I know what you're
I don't either.
saying.
I'm not a huge fan myself, but people really jerk that. As I said, that's going to upset people that I said he makes those rich kid movies because he really hits for people. But yeah,
I mean, call a spade a spade. That's not racist, is it?
I don't. We can find that out too. Oftentimes, when you try to look up anytime that question gets asked and you look up the origin, I feel like better than 80% of the time, it's like, oh no, yeah, it is right. But I don't
I got
know
it.
if
Greek, something to do with Greeks. Call
Greeks,
a
nice.
fig and a trough, which a trough and a spade is the same thing.
Call a fig. That one's yeah.
We're really dancing on it, aren't we?
But so okay, so it's not racist in origin, but you did just remind me, can it be racist? For sure, obviously it can, because one time I was commissioner of a fantasy football league when I still lived in Tennessee and this was like at the DOE, by the way, like it was all the younger people at the DOE, and I was the commissioner, and one of the white dudes, super conservative white guy who was in the league, was in my office, and it was almost time for the draft or whatnot, and he was like, have you gotten everybody's buy-in yet? And I was like, well, I don't have this guy, or this guy. And those three guys were the only three black dudes in our league, right? So, but that was the answer to the question. I was like, well, I don't yet have this guy, or this guy. And of course, me being me, I was like, and look, I'm not, it's fine. I'll get it. I'm not saying anything. I got awkward and weird being like, I'm not trying to be right to that whole thing. But he like cut me off and he just goes, hey man, sometimes you got to call a spade. Right. And then,
yeah. That feels racist.
It is racist. I know. That's what I'm saying. He was being racist on purpose.
It feels like you weren't being racist till you explained you weren't.
Well, it's one of those things. If you've been in there and seen his face, like
yeah. Well, it's like that joke.
Definitely registered it without a doubt. It's like
that joke when somebody goes, and he was Mexican. And you go, it's not racist to say Mexican. It is racist to whisper it, though.
Right. Yeah. But again, I said their names. I saw the look in his eye, and it sent me into the whole like, I'm not saying anything. And then he was just,
that reminds me. I'm going to reveal way too much, but I do that on here anyway. No one will be shocked by this story. Although I think people are listening right now who just got home, but whatever. I have a plate that I take with me to festivals.
A plate? Like a dinner plate?
It's like a dinner plate, yeah. Okay. What do you think it would be for?
I mean, if not food, drugs.
There you go. and it has a gorilla on it. Because when I'm doing that, if you're gonna be a monkey,
be a gorilla, yeah, right, yeah.
That's and I pulled it out to partake with a friend of mine who happens to be black, and then he just, of course, slapped the plate because the plate itself is so funny. I mean, it's a gorilla in a suit with like a red bow tie, and he's like, "Why you got that?" And then not only did I have to tell him, then I had to explain that it's from a Redman song and the story you told, which is just as awkward as this current story is.
Yeah.
He's a comic, so he got a real kick out of the layers of what he called white guilt and white racism, which he pointed out to me is often the same thing, which I thought was funny.
Right.
And then
yeah, that yes, the time I not accidentally, I guess, but without thinking, said if you got to be a monkey, be a gorilla, and Hattie B's, and the person playing the piano in the corner stopped, and everybody turned and looked at me or whatever. They
even that person, there's a guy.
I know. Yeah, and the guys playing spades in the other corner. They stopped. You know what they were doing? Like just keep getting more racist with it. So I said earlier, you brought up the gay conversion thing, and I was like, I was like, show them pictures of gay porn while spraying them with water hoses or whatever. And you're like, what the fuck? So this anecdote, this says they were forced to watch gay porn while being, this says force feeding them medication. I guess, what's that stuff that makes you throw up? Epicac or something?
Epicac.
Yeah. Shown gay porn while being like made.
Epicac?
Yeah. Made nauseous or whatever. So I knew they did some shit like that at some of them.
That is horrific. In no way do I want to come across like I feel any other way, but just out of curiosity, does that work?
Well, no, of course it does. How could it work? You can't.
I don't mean work like you're no longer gay. I mean, like, would it, like, later in life, do you start to puke when you get horny for a guy?
If you see a dick.
Is there a Pavlovian?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Thing there.
Which makes it even more fucked up.
Gay. I don't mean
yeah.
Like,
right.
But does it prevent you from watching gay porn because you're vomiting the whole time? That's wild.
It is wild. I mean, no, you raise a good point. It definitely seems like it could. Pavlovian conditioning is obviously a very real thing, so you could see how that would happen. But that's what that makes it even more fucked up.
Because you're being tortured, so your body would start to feel some of the PTSD from the torture. It's crazy that people would rather torture their children than just deal with that.
Right. I know. Yeah. But
because even if you're thinking of like in a religious sense,
that's what I was about to bring up.
It's still wrong, I think. Well, I guess if you don't act on it, maybe it's not, according to many.
Yeah, but is it justified? Because yeah, I assume any of the parents that ever do this, they're like, I have to save my child's soul from damnation, right? And I mean, fuck these people. But torturing a kid, though, wouldn't that also be bad damnation wise, or would it be justified in the eyes of the church if it was in order to save them from the gay devils or whatever?
I guess it's like there's like a few verses used as justification for corporal punishment. So I'm sure, I mean, dude, there's no shortage of like, I mean, the Spanish Inquisition, like there's no shortage of this is justified by the Old Testament vengeful God.
Mm-hmm.
And not to mention, I mean, I'm not the only person who's brought this up, but like Paul, kind of a huge piece of shit.
Okay. I don't know what you mean.
He wrote many of the books in the New Testament.
Is he the one that changed his name?
Mm-hmm. Do you know why he changed his name?
I do not know why.
He was murdering Christians. Well, maybe he was only throwing them in jail. He was persecuting them on behalf of a government that didn't like them. And then on the road to Damascus, he was blinded for a few days by some light, had some huge event, changed his name from Saul to Paul, and then became the thing he was persecuting. I mean, he's just a fucking narcissist.
Okay.
And then that
makes me, I get road to Damascus. I get that saying now.
And then he was exiled, and as part of that, he became like high up in, I mean, to say the church is a loose phrase at this point in time, there's not, kind of the point of his writings is there isn't really as much of an organized institution yet, right?
Mm-hmm.
He starts writing different people, telling them how to organize their church, how a church should be. Those are Paul's letters, and they became books of the New Testament. And I would say, inarguably, in American evangelicalism, Paul is way more important than Jesus. And I saw a thread talking about this the other day from a Catholic who's like super leftist, but they're a Catholic. I think they go by like leftist Catholic or something that I fuck with. And
What
they
a
were like,
stupid fucking name.
yeah,
Fucking, you know what I mean?
yeah.
Oh, we get it. It doesn't make sense because it seems to, normally you wouldn't think of it being that way. But I'm this, but I'm also a leftist. Fucking,
I don't even
we
think
get it.
that,
What a
I didn't even
fucking
put that together.
dipshit. Yeah.
But they were basically like saying that's all bullshit. And I wrote this long paragraph of like, dude, y'all are talking about all these like reasons Paul is misinterpreted. This girl just said that. She said Paul is misinterpreted by, like, y'all aren't evangelicals. You can't speak. But then I was like, what am I doing? You know, you have those like adult moments. You're like 4 paragraphs in, and you just delete it all and move on with your day. You go hug your son.
Yes.
So I did that because I don't really care what the leftist Catholic thinks about the girl who was really just talking about her lived experience, feels about Paul. And I'm not anyone defending Paul, in my opinion, should go fuck themselves.
Where are you at on like, the like religious lefty people? Like there's that pastor, I don't know what denomination he is, who is, his whole thing is fucking with ICE, protesting ICE and stuff. He's been like shot with a pepper. And then there's that lefty Christian influencer girl. Maybe that's the one you're talking about, or what? But she, like, who's gone viral a couple of times for pointing out the hypocrisy of these like conservative stances and shit. There's that lady pastor at Trump's inauguration who asked him to be a kind person, so they, sent her to Alligator Alcatraz or whatever they did. But like, I don't know, just what are you like, oh, that hits that you're at least like doing this, but also why even, hold on to the other part? Or are you like, no, these people hit harder for me than like anybody does? Cause
I'm definitely not I'm definitely not that part, I guess. I mean, I definitely feel that I'm like, okay, it seems like these people are paying attention.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
Lee Baines is one of my favorite people and artists on earth. He's certainly probably my second favorite Christian behind my mother. And on some days he's probably my favorite. So like, if you're asking me how do I feel about it, like, yeah, like good. You read those words in red. You came to the same conclusions I did. And instead of running away, you like decided to like be the example or whatever, to be Christ-like. Sometimes with like priests, there's a part of me that's like, I don't know, man. That'd be like joining the Nazis and being like, I'm going to change it from the inside. I mean, it's not quite that extreme, but maybe it would be like these prosecutors. Maybe that's a much better analogy, especially for me and my outlook. We're like, it's the only way to change the system. It's cute, your little public defender stuff, but what the fuck are you really going to do? And I'm like, and I'm waiting on one of you to do it. Because I'm, when I was in that world, it would be like for 4 years in a row, I'd be like, and I meet a slew of you every year. And I know a slew of you who are older than me, and none of you have done it yet. In fact, the opposite happens. You get whittled down until you're just justifying all this bullshit that is not justifiable. So I have very complicated views on it, I guess, would be my.
Also, I didn't mention Tallarico, right? He's another one. Tallarico, James Tallarico. That Texas dude, I feel like he's like hot shit right now.
Does he go on Rogan a lot and he's a politician?
He was a state level politician and went viral for pointing out the hypocrisy of some new Texas Republican state law, trying like a separation of church and state thing. He went viral for that, which got him on Rogan. He had viral moments on Rogan, and now he's running for U.S. Senate. And he's a white guy who's a Christian.
I like
okay.
I don't dislike Christians. I do feel a little bit of a apprehension, like I do with cops,
right?
For people who are like part of the clergy, especially for a church that's like very big and very organized. You entrusted your entire life to an institution that's done so much evil and empire. if you're part of the Catholic Church, for example. It's not that I don't believe you mean it or that you don't love Jesus. It's just that if you join that clergy, I'm like, that's tough for me. That's tough, but whatever, more power to them.
Yeah.
I mean, just be a good person, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about that the other day in terms of like teaching Roscoe, like how to be a man. And there's all this stuff about like what it means to be a man and masculinity. And we need a Rogan of the left and we failed little boys and all this other stuff. And I'm like, man, just be a good person.
Right.
And then like, if you like baseball, play baseball.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like if you want to hunt, and then be a good person, and then you'll be whatever this mythical fucking thing is that exists, that does exist. You understand
I
what
think
I'm
I
saying?
do. I mean, I thought before, like, to me, because sometimes, speaking of Christians, I've had plenty of them over my life, find out I'm a non-believer and make the argument to me about, it's like, well, how do you know not to fucking covet thy neighbor or whatever the fuck? How do you know not to do that? Without the good book, how do you know fucking how to be a good person?
Well, there's other books.
Right. But also, I've just always felt like, all you really need, it's called the golden rule for a reason, in my opinion. I feel like that's all you really need. Like that, all that is empathy turned into like a phrase, right? Or a way to conduct yourself. It's just, don't do anything that you wouldn't want done. Put yourself in that person's shoes. And if you wouldn't want to be treated that way, then fucking don't do it. Don't treat them that way or whatever. And that's really all it should. And I sometimes say that golden rule plus just mind your own business, but mind your own business should fall under the golden rule to me. Cause you don't want people nosing around in your shit too. But I feel like it's pretty simple. That's basically, and obviously you can expand it further and get more granular with it. But at the highest level, I feel like that's all anybody really needs. And if you actually live by that, you'll be a good person. You'll be okay.
It's also just crazy that, I mean, I guess it has to do with the myopic view of like the Bible being so much more important than other books. But one thing that I do believe, the two things in the world to me that are like divine to me, or that I relate to divinity, have always been like music, the way it makes me feel, the way it makes other people feel and act, but then also just like story in general. There's just something about consciousness and our ability to communicate through story that is both perverse when it comes to like advertising and tricking people, but also beautiful when it comes to like instruction or connecting with someone. I mean, that's what art is to me. And the idea that, like, I mean, like take the AI thing, for example. I feel like every day, and we've talked about this in the thread before, a new thing comes up where we're like, man, if only there was everything we've ever known about morality pointing against this, every story, every children's book that says this is the bad guy, don't do this. So my point being, even if you're like, there's no innate or obvious way to figure out how to be a good person without the Bible, there's other fucking books.
Mm-hmm.
Every kid's book, Mother Goose, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not the only story. Like, I can buy that you need a connection to a story to like help guide you in life. There's just so many fucking stories.
I've always interpreted more as that line, like from True Detective, that I know we've talked about plenty of times over the years. But it's like not just the story that it comes from or whatever, but it's the idea that's like the thing that Russ Cole says or whatever. It's like, if the only thing keeping a man from, doing bad deeds or doing evil or whatever is the desire for divine reward or whatever, then brother, that man is a piece of shit or whatnot. So the idea that's like that beyond just the book itself or the stories, that there's a God up there who like polices this, and that's the reason why you are good, is because of that, as opposed to just that's just the way you should be and the way you want other people to be to you and to your kids and to your wife and whatever else. So like you don't need that dude. Like,
I guess I was interpreting their question a little more, I guess, kindly, which is not like the question of like, how do you know, kind of meaning like, well, how do you know what's right? Sometimes it's obvious,
right.
But sometimes it's not. And I'm like, fucking music lyrics, again, Shakespeare, like there's so many, you can point to so many things where we've all been trying to communicate to each other the golden rule. we've done it so many different ways with so many different pieces of art and instruction and media that like, and then also there's plenty of pieces of media and stories about those times where you don't know, where it is really
Yeah.
hard and how hard that is on a
Right.
person and how you do the best you can. And, you know, and it's just like, I don't know, man. If you can't see that, you're either an idiot or yeah, you're trying to come up with an excuse to kind of be a dick.
And then a lot of people, they do generally live by that in their own mind and don't think there's anything off about it because they don't apply that same logic or rule to other people. Do you know what I mean? Or other types of people.
Yeah.
They're like, that don't count because they're not, you know, well, they're bad or whatever, or at least misguided and that type of thing. So that's why I don't have to apply this to them.
Right.
You know, it's not my fault. It's their
There's an
fault. Yeah,
exception
right.
to it
Yeah.
because they're whatever, evil.
Yeah.
There's a more interesting existential question though. The golden rule is treat others how you would want to be treated, right? But what if they don't want to be treated the way you want to be treated?
Right. I feel like that's still,
you're doing your best, so like they'll get over it.
Well, it's just you don't. Yeah, I mean, I guess you could still. I'm just saying, like, right. I see what you. I feel like big moral quandaries you'll mostly navigate okay using that. I think, but certain things like just. I was literally just. This is not even a moral thing, but I was just on my Patreon yesterday. I somehow got into a whole thing talking about like as a server, the different philosophies, like the servers that would be very, very bubbly and hey, how you doing? Thanks for coming in, that whole thing. And I never did that. And
because you hated it.
Do what? Yeah, right. But I was always like, if I came into a restaurant, I don't want that. That don't hit for me. So I just did like professionalism, right? Which I think is another like appropriate approach to it. But you don't know what that other person wants. Like to someone else, me being like, no, I'm gonna treat this as a professional situation. It might make someone else feel like, is this guy, you know, a dick or this guy's cold or whatever? Because people respond to different things different ways. So, you know, it is complicated at the end of the day. But I feel like with big decisions, you know, you still pretty much get there.
It's complicated as a like exercise. Maybe it isn't complicated in action because if you are treating people the way you want to be treated, that will turn some people off, but that's okay. Like if you generally want to be treated well, no one will think you're an asshole. Just some people will be like, oh, we don't click.
Right.
You know, like I expect to be treated better, or that's weird, or whatever. You know what I mean? Because I think that really comes to pass, like in relationships. Like I think the golden rule in relationships is just accept how your person loves you, rather than love them the way that you would want to be. Like I think you have to flip it. I think I have to realize like Andy's not going to act the way I want her to all the time because she's not the same fucking person as me.
Yep. Anyway. Well, we solved all that here on this week's episode. Thank you all for listening. Come to Zanies and see the two of us and Cho, all three together once again. December, what is it, 18th through 20th? Is that right? December 18th?
That is
18th
correct.
through the 20th at Zanies in Nashville. And then also look at my other tour dates in 2026. There's a bunch of them up already. They're all at TreCrowder.com. Drew?
Yeah, I don't have much to plug. I know I'm going to be in Denver like in April or whatever, but I'm still kind of taking her easy. Listen to Gravy Baby, my podcast with DJ Lewis and Carmen Morales. Both of them have been on WellRED plenty, and you guys know and love. It's a lot of fun. We're going to do our DJ's idea. Let me read it. We're going to do our top 5 media moments of 2025, which is mostly just DJ wanting to talk about the right-wing media landscape because it is his soap opera thing that he's into now, and it is unbelievably funny. So we got that coming up. So check it out. It's mostly going to be DJ talking about like Erica Kirk's fake tears, the way Candace Owens is now feuding with Ben Shapiro. DJ he talks about that the way like a sort of stereotypical housewife talks about reality television. DJ loves it.
Well, that's fun. That sounds like it hits. Thanks for being here. I'm having some drainage. Fuck it.
We don't need
to. Thank you all for listening to the WellRED Show. We'd love to stick around longer, but you got to go. We got to go. Tune in next week if you got nothing to do. Thank you. God bless you. Good night and skew. Right there it is.
That's the rap version.
I appreciate it. Love yous. Bye. Fart. Oh, shit. Fuck. But.